What's up? What's up, guys? It is me, Crimson 60620, and I'm here. I I wanted to stream and chill a little bit after work. I am fucking tired. So what I try to do with you guys is I actually try to come home every day, start streaming right away. And I wonder if you guys can hear me. You should be able to hear me. All right, testing my audio. I know you guys can hear me. I just actually want to chill. I've been going back through a few of my games lately, and sorry about that. I wanted to play a few things, but I want to actually just talk about some shit. So I'm gonna actually bring this video clip up. It's kind of funny because I was watching this today, and the shit was just like, this is what we need. I'm gonna watch this clip. You guys enjoy the clip.
Last call for you, Lynn, North Carolina, Republican. Go ahead.
Yes, I would like to ask this fella, what is his authority to say, sit up here and spew all that's hateful? All Republicans are racist. Do you live in my household? Do you know me?
All right, so obviously she's going with several fallacies. The first fallacy she's going with is the straw man fallacy. He never said that all Republicans are racist. And then he says, "Well, you don't know me." That's I forget the class of that fallacy. So, assumptions, incredulity. How dare you call me a racist when you don't even know me? And I love the clap back. This is why I start when I realize just Destiny's videos. I start watching because he claps back at this idiot ass shit. And this is like his interview, Cenk Uygur, Young Turks, president's founder, whatever, host. And I know a lot of people don't like watching the Young Turks, and I disagree with them on shit. But some of the shit that I find agreeable. So let's go ahead and just watch this shit. Go ahead and watch the response. Watch the questions and the response.
You cannot sit there and tell everybody I'm a racist so people will come attack me. Y'all are the problem. Y'all are the ones that's spewing all this hate and
Lynn,
dividing everybody.
Lynn,
I don't.
do you support Donald Trump?
Well, we need to go. Yes, I like Donald Trump.
Well, that's why we think you're racist. Look, Lynn, do you get it? The guy after they found out the Central Park Five, the five black kids in Central Park did not commit the rape, he said, who cares? Keep them in prison anyway. They probably did something. He's a terrible guy. I mean, you want to talk about anti-Semitism, very fine people on the side chanting, Jews will not replace us. He says we should ban all Muslims. Well, that's bigotry by definition. He said it during the campaign trail over and over again. Called Latinos criminals and rapists. So if you're on board for that, you should look in the mirror if you're trying to find a racist.
Lynn, we're running out of time, but give you a chance to respond if you
right
want.
now on the ticket.
Wow, that was challenging. That was fucking challenging, and I fucking love it. Like, seriously, like, literally, you just said, if you support this motherfucker, and I get it, it's a fucking it's basically he was saying either or, and he set her up, and he was like, "Do you support Donald Trump?" And she was like, "Yes, of course I support Donald Trump." And like, this shit was just hilarious. But let's go.
TV. You are the racist. You are. And you have no right to say this.
No, I do have a right. I see. You're used to Republicans being strong on television and Democrats cowering. New day in America. We don't play that game. Progressives, we actually fight back. So you can call me racist based on what? Okay, I never said anything about white people. I said right-wingers and people who support Donald Trump. That's why I gave you the benefit of the doubt. I asked you if you support Trump. Because I'm judging you by your ideas, by the people that you're backing. I'm not doing it blindly, and I'm definitely not doing it based on your race. But it's Donald Trump that makes assumptions about race over and over and over again, all based on the stereotypes he's got sitting in the back of his head. And so when those people in Puerto
Some tells me he didn't want to say the back of his head, but let's continue.
Rico needed help, he didn't give them the help, and he called them lazy. That's because he's a racist. He's had that stereotype about Puerto Ricans his whole life. And guess what? It cost thousands of lives down there because we didn't get them help enough. That is actually policy. That makes a difference. Those people died. When we say, hey, we're worried that he didn't take action because of a stereotypical way of thinking about Puerto Ricans, that's not racism. That's saying, for God's sake, go help those people, and we're worried that you're not because of your racial attitudes. So you don't get to cry victim after you abuse every other race in this country, and we push back and say, could you please stop doing that? And you can't then go, oh my God, you're so racist for pointing out my racism and the systemic way that we have crushed minorities in this country. No deal. No deal. New day in America. This time we fight back.
Cenk Uygur is founder and host of The Young Turks. On Twitter, it's at The Young Turks. Appreciate your time. Come back again.
Thank you so much.
All right, this is why this motherfucker got kicked off network TV, because he doesn't bow down to people who wants him to fucking bow down. I was legit watching. I was watching Oprah Winfrey's reason why she left 60 Minutes, because they wanted to be blasé and passive and all that other good bullshit. No, I'm tired of fucking news actors. And yes, I call them news actors. Let me see if I can scrub it back here. Let me see. Give me a second. I'm trying to find it. I turned down my TV.
Can you please not shoot unarmed
All right.
men?
Yeah. I think it was right here.
That may be rude, but when the left calls the right racist and sexist,
So does that mean that I think that they have positions that are better than Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth?
Come here. Is it right here?
And Gabbard, you just type in their names and you'll see.
Cenk Uygur with The Young Turks with us for about 15 more
Come
minutes
on.
this morning on the Washington Journal. Taking your calls as usual, phone lines, Democrats, Republicans, and
Let's see what. I think it was this one.
Independents. Colin in Santa Monica, California. Good morning.
good morning.
Hold on.
So I used to be a progressive, and
Oh yeah, this shit. All right, so this is the shit that I love. If you're arguing just to fucking argue, I can't doubt that. But damn it, stop fucking cowering to these motherfuckers. Fucking fight up, speak your voice. And I won't actually probably get to a Destiny video where he's talking about political violence and how that may be justified. But shit, yeah. Felipe, Fernando, Eduardo, Esteban. Don't know what that one is. Iran, Ernesto, Enrique. Damn it. Eduardo. Damn it. I need to learn how to fucking Diego. Desi. Cristobal. Wow, I really don't. I'll go with Carlos. What was I before? Oh, administrator. Service building constructions. Foreman. Go African. Face. Yeah, go with that. Not a greaser. Cold War. Nah. Not an astronaut. Nah. Even though that would be fun, little costume. Tuxedo. Uh, uh, hmm. Eh. Fuck spy. Cornrows. Yes. No hat. Accessory. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to come up with a good look. Turn your ass around, dude. Fuck no. Yeah, yeah, there we go. All right, so let's listen to this shit. Come on, let's listen to this shit.
Simply, to me, although it's a three-dimensional world, so left and right is ridiculous. But the American eagle has two wings. It needs both a left wing and a right wing to fly, like any bird. And when the right calls the left, snowflakes, that may be rude, but when the left calls the right, racist and sexist, it's pushing away a lot of people. And I'd be curious, and there's lots of examples of it. So I think there's a silent majority as much as your guest is excited, and I applaud his work in a lot of ways. I think there's a silent majority of people who've been silenced by the bullies coming out of the left, and I'd like.
And so this bullshit. This is what I love. I love this bullshit because here's the thing: they never complain about the right bullies. And I'm sorry, I'm unapologetically. I know I just said I'm sorry, but I'm unapologetically a left-leaning person. Now, I may not be a Democrat like you would see with a lot of the Democrats, which they want peace and come together. I'm sorry. It's just, no. That's not how this works. You don't get the ability to just say, well, we should all live together in peace. Fuck that. And you should just look, if you come over to my side, we can live in peace. If you want to follow me, we can live in peace. And I don't mean just follow me as just a person. If you want to follow what I believe, we can live in peace. For me to follow what you want, fuck no. Because anytime you take a position where you want to actually take somebody down in order to lift yourself up, then we have a fucking problem. And I'm sorry. I'm gonna fight for everyone to have the most. But let's continue.
I'd like to hear him have a calmly respond in an effort to give his side credibility and not push more people away. He's thrown out a lot of passionate comments today, but not backed it up with a lot of facts.
That's totally not true. I backed up every single thing I said with facts. Okay, so look, the right wing invented identity politics.
This is true.
Slavery. It's not like black people decided, hey, you know what? We think we'll have an advantage by calling people racist 200 years from now, so let's sign up for slavery. That is not what happened. What happened was white people imprisoned, slaved, lynched, killed, murdered, raped black people in this country. Now, am I saying that you're responsible for that sitting at home in Nebraska somewhere? No, we're not saying that. What we're saying is acknowledge that history, acknowledge that slavery was identity politics, Jim Crow was identity politics, discrimination was identity politics, and it's the white right wing that has been playing that game. So does that mean you should blame all white people? Of course not. And it doesn't mean you should blame them now. But you should acknowledge where all of this came from. So when Black Lives Matter says, could you please not shoot unarmed black men?
Come on.
That's not playing identity politics. Shooting black men at a disproportionate rate, that's identity politics. And that
Oh my God! Like this, like what don't people understand about shit like that? It's almost as if they don't want to understand this shit. And that's the thing. That's what I don't fucking get. It's like a lot of people, because it's comfortable for them, they don't want to rock the boat because it's their boat. It's their benefit for things to remain as what they are. And I'm fucking sorry. It's works for you, but it hasn't worked for everybody else. And I I really wish people would have not a little, a lot more fucking human empathy, because what ends up happening is they don't care about other people and their problems. And that's a problem, because when you don't care about what's affecting other people, when you think, oh, it's their problem, they should just deal with it, you run the risk of being an asshole. And here's the thing about being an asshole: when you're being an asshole, nobody wants to fucking help you. And I'm sorry, guys. I'm leaning back because I'm in my lazy boy. Yeah. I just looked at the camera and see how fucked up this makes me look. Let me just adjust the camera. And better. Yeah, that's a little bit better. I'm still leaning back. I don't give a fuck. All right. So let's continue. Let's finish hearing this shit.
that actually gets people killed. Look, white people and black people smoke marijuana at about the same rate. Black people are imprisoned at 4 times the rate. 4 times the rate. That's identity politics that robs them of their freedom, their liberty, destroys their lives. And when they push back and say, hey, could you not arrest us at 4 times the rate? Then people turn around and go, I can't believe they're playing identity politics. Stop putting them in prison unjustly. That's the identity politics. Look, the Republican Party did the Southern strategy, where their whole point was to go get racists in the South, to turn from the Democratic Party to the Republicans and vote for them. The 2 different heads of the RNC have apologized for the Southern strategy because it's real and its intent was racist. So when you build an entire political party on identity politics and white supremacy, don't be surprised when people push back and go, well, I'm not a white right-winger, so I'm not interested in that party because you seem to dislike people that are of my hue, race, religion, etc. And then, ironically, because conservatives love to be victims, that's their favorite thing. Oh my God, can you believe it? Somebody said happy holidays to me instead of Merry Christmas.
Huh.
You want to talk about a snowflake? I mean, that's as big a snowflake as you could possibly imagine. So when we say, can you please stop being so unfair to minorities in the country, they go, oh, now I'm the victim. You're playing identity politics.
Amen.
I'm having fun institutionally discriminating against you all these years, and now you're going to ruin it by saying I should stop discriminating. I can't believe you're doing identity politics. I don't accept that. It's just not true.
Newport, North Carolina is next. Julie, a Democrat. Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for taking my
All right,
call.
so let's actually finish with this one. I'm done with this one. This was actually fun, and Let me see. Let's search. I know. Hmm. Sorry, guys, if I can't spell. Eh, pull that shit up. Uh, 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 do. Violence. If I can't spell, I can't spell. Okay, there we go. And yeah, here we go. A week ago. Let's go ahead and watch this shit.
Wow, the man, the myth, the legend. Here he is.
And pretty soon I'm gonna actually have to do a video on TheQuartering. I fucking hate this sorry sack of shit. But let's fucking talk about it. But let's go.
Just do what I normally do, stream a video games.
How long do you stream in a day?
I don't know, anywhere from 6 to 12 hours, depends on what's going on.
Jesus Christ. Long time.
Alright, how's it going? I understand we have some disagreements.
Come on.
Yeah, I think to reframe, I think it's fair to say that you probably want to talk. I noticed that a bunch of people were commenting about me wanting to.
All right, so this shit kind of like I don't know. This shit kind of All right, so get me in a live room, and you guys have probably seen it if I've been on other people's channel. Like I've been on Drag's channel, and or when I was on True Empiricism channel, I don't back down from the videos that I make here online. The way that I speak online, I may try to talk in a less combative way when trying to get a point across, but I'm gonna go full force against somebody, especially somebody who I think is fucking wrong, who has a fucking abhorrent, views and ideas. I'm gonna go fucking hard. I'm not gonna backpedal away from shit. But let's continue.
Cool, deplatform you. I don't know if you want to talk about that. Get that out of the way.
Nah, that's a pretty easy, because you'll just say, oh, I don't want anybody to be deplatformed, and you said that in your video, so it's kind of boring. I'd rather talk about the political issues, are more entertaining to me.
Sure. Yeah. So in that video, the clip was forgetting all the surrounding. You didn't get in any trouble?
No, that video was like 6 months old. I'm not sure why you wrote recently on it, but...
Oh, wow. Okay. Maybe it just surfaced recently then. Okay.
no, I mean, it posted on my channel. It didn't surface anywhere. Just Keemstar tweeted and you noticed the tweet. But don't worry, a lot of people piled in on it.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's probably why. So your point is that you believe political violence is good, right?
I don't know why I say it's good, but justifiable, yeah, of course.
Or do you justify it?
Yeah.
That's good. You said, I'm past, the quote was something like, I'm past just political discourse. I'm for political violence because conservatives are ruining my country. Is that a fair representation?
Yeah, I think so, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so why?
Why which part?
Well, what do you think the violence is going to do?
Well, I don't actually...
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't actually put my point of view on this shit. So the thing is, I don't think violence is the only way to accomplish a goal, especially in political discourse. And I will strongly advise against strictly using political violence in order to physical violence in order to get my point across of, hey, stop fucking with me. Now, notice I classified that as political physical violence. And I'm going to make that a point right now. And the reason why I have to be so careful with that, because political violence can be actually standing and being a physical block against someone performing a duty. Like, if you are actively holding a picket line, that's a form of political violence. Now, it's non physical, but that's actually political violence. You need that shit. MLK, it was non-violent political disobedience, which still was political violence in the sense where you still had an obstruction to of people completing a certain task, or in cases where people couldn't just out and out complete a physical job, that's still political violence. And I'm okay with that. And also, we had the movement of non non-violent political violence. And I always say it's important to have both sides of the coin. But let's continue.
So, this is here comes some uncomfortable nuance. I generally don't advocate for like full revolution. That's like some communist socialist shit. I get pretty upset, and I do believe it can be justifiable. But I don't know if like going full like violent revolution is necessarily the way to go. I typically don't advocate for it. Usually, when you hear me talk about these things, I'll say something along the lines of like, I think that violence against certain political groups in the U.S. can be like morally justified. I think there are groups of people that definitely could justify it. But I don't know if like going full scale revolution is the way to go. We might get to that point though, maybe sooner rather than later. But
Well, I think we would probably agree that there are cases for it where it's the people versus the government.
Okay, so here's the thing. This is what I fucking hate about these motherfuckers right here. So, they sit back and cower too. They build up a boogeyman for fucking. They build up a boogeyman for left political violence. We have right political violence and outright violence all the fucking time. So, you actually see it where you had a group of motherfuckers take over a park in Oregon, and yet and still with guns, and they get caught and nothing fucking happens to them. And it's fucking unbelievable that a lot of this shit is done, and yet when the left actually makes one inklings of discontentment, then it's a fucking problem. But you know what? You know what? Like, I see the t-shirts popping up every day. We ain't our fucking grandparents. We don't just stay and be happy with the political scraps we're fucking given. It's time for the left to show they have just as much spine as you see on the right. But you'll never see that. You'll never fucking see where people would actually go out there and actually show that they're not gonna put up with the shit like you see in the left, in the right. So, yeah, get them looking like that. Mm. That's good. I got it. But you'll never see that, like, people on the right use the left as a boogeyman. I would hate to see what would happen if people on the left start using the right as a boogeyman. But let's continue.
No, well, I mean, the government is by the people and for the people in the United States, so it's the people versus the people. The government gets its power from the people.
Okay, so is there a scenario where let's use my scenario since you did your research on me, right? So this guy, I can't give too many specifics, but everybody knows the gist, right? So this guy, in my opinion, didn't like my political stances and attacked me for it. In his mind, he probably felt like it was morally good or right, but it didn't help his cause. In fact, it made my voice louder. You know?
All right, so surprise, surprise. When you advocate for people to be shitty things happen to you. Now, he has to, the Quarterling is careful how he speaks now based on what happened to him. And I hate bullies. And ironically, I am a bully. I will say this. I am a fucking bully when it comes to things that are just and right and all that other good shit. But you sowed the wind and you reaped the hurricane. But let's continue.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's my point, is that political violence doesn't do anything good. Can you think of an example of where, two people, assaulting somebody over their political ideology was a good thing?
Yeah, the
What about
founding of the United States, the
Yeah.
entire civil rights movement, women's suffrage. I mean, what do you mean? Every major turning point, the Civil War, I mean, in history has usually been enacted on by violent conflict.
Damn it.
Okay, so you're expanding your phrase. So you're saying you're talking about, when you say you want violence against conservatives, you're talking about, what, wars?
I don't know if I want it. I don't know if that would be effective. I'm just saying that I think it's justifiable, and I think people need to be aware.
And so this is my little pet theory that I have. I have a theory that people who are conservative that strictly believe in right wing ideologies, they have a problem with metaphors and similes. They have a problem with understanding, different concepts of, exaggeration or different concepts of, say, like satire. Like, how many times have we watched a Zack Snyder film and I love Watchmen. I love Watchmen to a fault. But the way Zack Snyder shot Watchmen, it was almost as if he fetishized Rorschach. Rorschach was not a hero in that story. He was a very, very bad motherfucker. And I don't mean a bad ass. He was just a horribly broken person. And all of them in that movie were. But he fetishized what you got from Rorschach. And he fetishized with he fetishized Ozymandias and Ozymandias. Whatever. Adrian, whatever the fuck he was. And the actors, I think they knew what was going on with the story. Everybody portrayed that they were broken characters in that story. But I don't think Zack Snyder really understood the 300. I don't think he understood what that actually meant. But yeah. So, fuck. Let's continue.
Aware of the consequences of the groups that they support.
So am I misunderstanding your point? I took your point as advocating for violence against, let's say, the average conservative.
I don't think I would advocate for it. I mean, that sounds like I'm ready to take a gun and go marching on the street. But I think that they should be aware that could be a consequence of their actions. Sure, that the average conservative should keep that in mind.
I don't understand how that outcome is good, though. Or so you're saying there's a moral argument support? What is the moral argument?
Sure. So the moral argument is that conservatives in the United States are already enacting violence on large groups of people.
Exactly.
And to respond with violence in kind is something that people see as a defensive measure. So, for instance, let's say that you were one of the 800,000 DACA people that were facing deportation potentially under conservative rule. That would be a violent action by the government trying to remove you from where you live. Or let's say that you're somebody that's going to lose their health insurance because of the repeal of the mandate for health care.
Exactly.
That you look at a conservative like, what the fuck? You're literally voting me to die. I think that these are people, or people that support these groups of people, could have like justifiable qualms or justifiable retaliations against people that are in favor of these types of policies in the U.S.
Well, what you're saying is pretty broad. I'm saying specifically voters, right? Like
Sure,
the average.
I'm talking about voters. Yep, the average conservative voter. Yep, that if you're voting for people that are depriving other people of their health insurance, if you're voting for people that are depriving people of their ability to exist in the U.S., if you're voting for people that are Nazis or whatever, or extremely like alt-right people or whatever, in certain areas, that a consequence of that vote could be that other people could see that you are like a threat to their existence. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose you could justify it to yourself. My point would be that it's not going to help your cause.
Well, you're talking
Says
about
who?
things. You're talking about the effectiveness of the measure, and you're talking about whether it can be justified. So do you agree that?
Sure.
And you know what? Here's the thing. And I'm gonna actually say this: it's never morally right. Can it be justified? Yes. Just like it can be justified for a cop to shoot an unarmed black person because they're scared. Yes. You're using your vote to fucking threaten my livelihood, or I can be fucking shot dead because you're scared. Is that justifiable? Yes. Is it a valid justification? You can't really say it can be valid to that person. Is it a morally right justification? Doesn't have to be. It just has to be a justification. But let's continue.
I believe, I would agree that someone could justify it, yes.
Wait, then what do we disagree on?
I don't think we disagree on that much. That's what I'm always trying to say. Like, you got me as like some ultra alt-right guy. I'm not.
Well, but that, I mean,
Now, I've watched some of this cat's video, and that's how he acts.
Violence against black people can be justified in the U.S.
I think I was just pointing out that if you had changed that word in the statement, people would not have agreed with you.
Well, of course, because you're talking about two totally different things. Like, I hate people that rape children. Really? Well, if you changed people that rape children to black people, I bet people wouldn't agree. Well, of course, they're two totally different things.
Exactly.
An average run-of-the-mill conservative, though, isn't enacting policy, as you put it.
But this is kind of the American problem, is that we do a lot of dumb shit.
But they enacted with their votes. When you enact it with your vote, you're fucking with other people. I don't understand why that's so hard for you to comprehend. When you're enacting things with your vote, when you're choosing to hurt people's livelihood with your vote, you're fucking with other people. Like, that's just a given. That's what happens. Like, you're hurting people. Like, for real, you're fucking hurting people. And I don't see why that's so hard to understand. But let's continue.
Shit. And we don't seem to want to take responsibility for our actions. And I just don't agree with that anymore. When you look at things like 9/11, or you look at all of our foreign policy decisions, abroad, I think that it's time that, as an American, I think people need to wake up and understand, like, hey, the things that I do have, repercussions. I have responsibilities to the people that I vote in office, because what I do impacts people around the world. I mean, if you stay home and don't vote, I guess I would have less of a qualm with you. But if you're going to, like, take the action to go to the voting booth, you're going to vote in people that are going to act violent measures against other people, then I think, you have to be aware that there could be repercussions for your actions. I think it's totally justifiable for people to take issue with you, up to, like, violent levels or whatever. I think that's not really a controversial statement, I don't think.
I think that one could justify it in their own mind, and if that's your argument, then
when I say one could justify it, I mean using any conventional morality, any morality that people believe in, like generally in the West, would have to agree with my position. For instance, if somebody's standing in front of you with a gun threatening to shoot you, I think that most people could justify taking preemptive defensive action
Exactly.
against that person. Most people would be okay with that, using any form of conventional morality that people in the West believe in. If somebody was telling a person to go and kill you, much the same. And I think you could extend that pretty easily to people that support people, politicians that enact policies that are a threat to your existence. For instance, if you're a transgender person, you are in the military, and you're facing the loss of your job and career. Or people that fall under DACA, people for healthcare. Yeah, I think that these are people that totally have.
And this is using state sanctioned violence. This is using this is effectively saying, I'm gonna put a gun to your head until you go or you can't. And I don't see why this is so hard for a lot of these people to understand. You're fucking using state sanctioned violence to fuck people over. And not only that, even if it was just economic violence, it's still fucking you over. It's still taking away your livelihood because of some antiquated belief or just because I don't like you because of a certain characteristic that you have that has nothing to do with you, your personality. It just has something to do with my perceived slight. Come on now. Like, really? Is that what we're doing now? But let's continue.
Have legitimate grievances with conservatives.
Well, I think that it's unreasonable to 100% endorse everything somebody does in office, right? Like, I don't know who. I mean, I don't really care who you voted for, right? But like, I'll just say mine. For example, I've only voted, I think, like 3 times, maybe 4. And I voted on different sides almost every single time. But it's not like when you vote in, for example, Obama, that because I voted for him, I automatically endorse 100% of everything he says.
I think that the majority of the Republican Party seems to support the majority of Trump's agenda right now. I think that's pretty evidenced by some of the popularity, based on the presence at rallies, based on the positions that a lot of the Republicans in Congress are taking. Like, I wouldn't buy that. Well, we voted for him, but we don't really like any of his policies. I don't think I would.
Exactly.
Oh, well, I can give you. I mean, yes, an exception doesn't prove the rule, but I mean, I voted for him, and there's a lot he does that I don't agree with. I think most people that voted for him, at least let's say the group of people that you might classify as reluctant Trump voters, absolutely.
How could you be a reluctant Trump voter?
Well, people that voted for him, viewing it as maybe the worst of 2 evils.
In what way?
I suppose you could say don't vote. You know.
Well, in what way is it? What way is he the worst of 2 evils, or the lesser worst of 2 evils?
Well, people think that way.
Yeah, but I'm asking you specifically. Well, you just said that is your stance. How could you not defend it?
Well, anybody that drove down the street with a Never Hillary bumper sticker, do you think that they were endorsing Donald Trump exclusively, or do you think they were more voting against him?
I mean, it's a Republican president that's going to put in Republican Supreme Court justices. I mean, it's voting for a Republican in office is a pretty big thing. I mean, what policy positions or whatever, or what did Trump stand for that was opposite to Hillary, that was like worth, I guess, voting for Trump for over Hillary?
Well, I can't speak for anyone but myself.
Sure,
I'm
so for
saying,
yourself.
I don't think it's fair. I think it's reasonable. I think we can agree that there are people that voted that way. Are you contending that people didn't vote for Trump because they thought he was a left? I mean, that happens in every election.
Sure, but I'm curious what the policy positions are of Trump that would be like, well, Trump had this really good thing related to this, and that's why I wanted to vote for him. Because you might be able to find some nuance there, sure, but like, I don't think that nuance is going to be found in somebody like Trump.
Huh.
Well, let me
Exactly.
I can maybe give you an example. So, and this isn't me whether or not I agree with it or not, but this is an example, I think. The pro-war versus protect home stance, right? I'm not saying this was true or not about Hillary Clinton, but there's the narrative that she was kind of hawkish, and Trump was running on this, well, take care of our own first. And that was one of the first things that pissed me off about
And
it.
he was
Syria
lying.
after
He
Trump
was
said that,
fucking
he wasn't
lying.
gonna do that shit anymore.
Yep, and increased the drone strikes in Yemen. I think more civilians died under like the first
Right.
year of the
I disagree with that wholeheartedly. It won't be the first time a politician lies. But I mean, I think that's an example where somebody's like, well, I'm not.
Wait, so you're surprised that the guy that said that we need to kill the families of terrorists, that guy ended up being hawkish in terms of foreign policy. That was surprising to you.
Yeah,
Totally unforeseeable.
I didn't say I was surprised. I said that it went against.
that never made sense to me. So you're telling me that, like, legit, the person who legitimately said we should kill their families was gonna be okay with being some sort of pacifist? I don't. Maybe, may, maybe that's some seven dimensional math that I don't understand. Maybe, may, no, it's bullshit. You knew it was bullshit. You just wanted to hate the fucking same people that he claimed to hate. That's all it really was. But let's continue.
And something he said, and that could have influenced voters. People, you asked for an example of how would somebody choose a
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, there are literally quotes of him saying, like, I'm going to bomb the shit out of him. Like, he talked extensively about bringing back more forms of torture, that he was going to kill the families of terrorists. Like, I mean, this is pretty clear in all of these
Right.
debates.
You're hyper informed though, Destiny. You know that. You're hyper informed. Most people vote on what, one or two issues, right?
Okay, so it can't be the war issue. It's got to be something different.
Why? Well, it's not the same one or two issues for everybody. I mean, there are people out there that still vote based on abortion law when that's a dead meme at this point.
No, that's not
So you don't
dead.
think that those people should face any consequences for the politicians that they vote for? You think that they're free of that because there's one or two issues that are more important to them? Maybe voting on some issue is more important to them than the rights of, say, LGBT people, or people that are here via DACA, or people that are relying on the ACA for healthcare?
Well, I think that everybody has their own opinion, their own things that are important to them individually. To you, those
Yeah,
are
for some people, like being able to live in the United States or being able to survive.
This is what I don't get. One or two issue voters. And what kind of kills me is that the campaigns are never mentioned to only have one or two things that's fucking wrong with it. And I'm sorry, it's never. I just I don't see it where it's just they know what people say. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna talk about the lesser of two evils. When you clearly don't give a fuck about somebody else, you're just thinking how it conforms to your narrative of what reality should be, then you're being an asshole. And the only issue that you care about is what makes you feel good. But let's fucking continue.
Are important things for some people. So do you think that if somebody else thinks it's more important that we have some other position, that you should just forego your interest in, like, your right to secure health care or your right to exist in the U.S. where you've been your whole life?
Well, the point of this conversation is to discuss whether or not political violence would be something I'd advocate for there, and I absolutely would not. Because it's not going to change how they voted, and it's not going to change anything. And what you're advocating for is you want it against conservatives, but, then that means that it holds true for liberals as well.
Yeah, but
Wow.
the argument is that conservatives are already... Well, yeah, the argument is that conservatives are already enacting this violence. They do it via ICE, they do it via legislation.
Wow.
It's not like a thing that...
Obama deported a few people too, my man.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm saying. So Obama,
Okay, so
they're all,
Wait.
that the quid pro quo fallacy that was just used. But what aboutism? So he deported a lot of people, and so that still doesn't make any sense. And I can tell you why he deported a lot of people. He deported a lot of people so he can curry favor with the people that didn't want people in that country, wanted other people in this country, and the fact is, it still didn't win him anything. He didn't get any votes, any agreements, because he started off in a position of weakness instead of a position for strength. If you would have started with me, I would have said I'm gonna legalize and make them all full American citizens, and I'm gonna make sure they can vote in every fucking election. Try me, motherfuckers. And then I would allow you to make a decision afterwards. And the Republicans would have fucking hated me. Let's be honest. If I ran for president, fucking Republicans will fucking hate me. Because you know why? Because I wouldn't put up with their bullshit. Yeah, we're gonna negotiate. I'm the motherfucking president. And you will listen to me, motherfuckers. But that's just me. Let's continue.
What does Obama have to do with this? Hold on, wait, that was like 8 years ago.
Well, he's a.
Or, I'm sorry, 4 years ago.
Yeah, well, he would be a liberal candidate, right?
Yeah, but what are we? Why are we talking about Obama?
I'm making the point that both sides of the aisle do these things.
What aboutism?
For only violence against conservatives.
Okay,
What
because
aboutism?
Right now we're talking about conservatives, yeah? Maybe you could have advocated for violence under Obama if you were somebody that was being deported by Obama back then, sure. I mean, I wouldn't disagree with that.
Okay, so, right. So your point is that both sides, you advocate for violence either way then?
No.
It's morally acceptable for either
No.
side of the aisle, so you advocate for violence against liberals or Democrats too then? If they're doing...
Sure, I think that there are consequences to the people that you vote for. Right now, my problem is that I think conservatives are legitimately destroying the country, if not the world. So, yeah, I mean, those are the people that have problems with right now, but I'm sure liberals could do it as well. I say liberals, Democrats could do it as well, sure.
All right, well, so then I think I would... I mean, I don't agree with you,
Oh my
but
God.
if you view it that way evenly on both sides, then it's hard to argue that. You know, I think
You
the
think?
argument that someone could self-justify violence if they believe their life is in danger,
Wow.
that's a true statement. I don't think that enacting violence is going to change anything. I think it undermines what people are trying to do, even if in that moment you feel like it's the right thing to do.
Well, I mean, like, right now, healthcare is being defunded in the United States. DACA recipients are facing possible deportation. Transgender people are being kicked out of the military. I mean, like, this is violence that's happening right now.
Well, I wouldn't call getting kicked out of the military violent.
It's
Really?
it's economic.
Removed from your career?
It's economic violence. Now, I've probably said it on streams before, but I watched Jim Sterling, and he's actually been making a very valid point. When you tell somebody that, oh, you don't have to work here, no one has a gun to your head, you're still enacting violence. It's economic violence. It's fucking economic violence. And you taking away someone's livelihood, and shit, Peter Kaufman has had to say the same thing. We live in a system where you have to gain capital in order to live. When you're threatening to take that away from somebody, you're causing violence to them because you're taking away their fucking livelihood. That's a thing that happens. You know, you're fucking with someone's livelihood, and you're telling them, no, you would follow what I tell you to do. That's still fucking violence. That's economic. And you know what? If you're doing it for political reasons, that's economic political violence. But let's continue.
Here, you wouldn't consider that a violent action of the state?
I don't think so. I don't know, maybe. I don't know if I like the word. My problem is with the word violence. I think if you're in the military, I can... You have a problem with the word violence. Almost as if you have feelings for the term violence. And I recall people like TheQuartering, he's even repeated it. Facts don't care about your feelings. Aww. But let's continue. can see an argument for providing them some sort of payment or allowing them to serve their country. I don't have a problem with trans folks being in the army. If they want to serve their country, they're good by me. There are arguments for it that I've heard, but
you don't think somebody removing all of your income and forcing you to change jobs, that's not like a form of violence, you don't think?
I don't know if that's what they're doing. Are they removing their income, or are they paying
Yes.
and
Well, no,
retiring
they're
them?
being kicked out. They're not being retired with full benefits. They're being basically kicked out of the military. If you're a trans person, you're not allowed to serve anymore. There's some, I think, like 10,000 trans people or whatever.
Well,
Oh
I
my
disagree with
God,
that.
yes.
I wouldn't call that an act of violence, though. I would hope that they would be compensated. If they're not, then I disagree with that. I think if you accepted their service at a time, then you have a responsibility
Like,
and
what the
loyalty
fuck,
to them.
man?
Just because the law changed today, you should back what you agreed to at the time.
Okay, so
Would I advocate for them going on the street and finding someone with a MAGA hat and punching them? No, I would not. I don't think that does their cause any good. I don't think it's going to change any minds in the MAGA hat person in that scenario. That's.
what do you? Okay, so going back to the Trump thing, what policy positions would you support for him that would make it more important than, say, DACA people or healthcare people in the United States?
Protecting this country and getting out of foreign wars.
Huh. Yeah, he was gonna do that.
It's less military spending, more.
It's like he was gonna do that
taking
shit.
care of problems at home. That includes immigration, right? It includes people here. Everyone needs more assistance than what they're getting, and I believe we're wasting a lot of money playing world police. And
So Trump always talked about. Okay, and then Trump, well, he didn't lie. He talked about raising the military budget. He talked about killing all sorts of people. He wants to bomb the
Exactly.
hell out of them and go in and rebuild everything. Like, yeah, I don't understand how you could vote for Republican and expect less military funding. I don't understand.
well,
Like,
there's being
that
duped.
didn't
I
make
mean, every
sense.
president of all time has lied and almost never delivered on anything. I mean,
Well,
this
you're
is
not.
a
There's
deeply
being
Republican
duped,
presidential
and then there's a guy like dipping his dick in chocolate and saying like, "Come eat my candy bar." Like, this is not. Like,
That's not a visual I want to have for Trump. And besides, from what everybody who says they saw it, it's maybe a bite size, like the kind that you get in fucking the Halloween candy. But let's continue.
watch literally any speech or any debate.
I thought we
or
weren't
any-
talking about Obama.
No, if you can literally watch like anything related to Trump and it's not a do. But I guess if you're just not like informed at all on the issues, like this just maybe makes sense. Or I don't know where you can get your news from where you possibly think that Trump was going to decrease the military spending or pull us out of foreign wars. I don't understand.
Well, he literally said that he was going to do that. If I remember.
Oh
correctly.
wow, the liar that
I'm not gonna.
That was lying.
Adept at Googling it, but I'm pretty sure I remember him saying that at one point. Whether or not it was true, whether or not you think anyone's stupid for believing that, doesn't change the fact that he did say it. You know.
Okay. Well, after
Wow.
I guess after Trump has revealed himself for the great deceiver, are you going to vote for him again in a year?
In 2020.
Yeah.
Likely. I'm not sure who I like right now. I mean, I'm hoping that we get some more reasonable candidates out there, but I don't know. There's nobody I'm really in love with right now.
Really?
Sell me on somebody I should be.
Really?
I don't know. How about our Bernie boy?
He's a little old. I don't know.
Isn't he just
What?
50 years older than Trump?
What?
Right? Maybe just a few. I'm not a. I was initially. I thought Bernie would have won in
Wow.
2016 easily if he didn't make the decision that he did.
And what was
I
that?
think he probably wins that election. Maybe I'm wrong, but now the problem is rerunning again. People just kind of get. It's like, do you rerun Hillary? No. You know,
Because Hillary was a horrible
Chance
candidate,
twice
you
now.
idiot.
I'm not sure that he's the guy. Bernie's 77, Trump 72. 5 years. I mean, he could be a one-term guy.
But he's a better shape than Donald Trump.
Gotcha.
Well, sorry, it wasn't very fiery. This is not a close home issue, but I do.
Well,
want
everybody
to,
seems to like want to make videos about me getting banned from Twitch or whatever.
Exactly.
From 6 months ago, because I have the absurd position that political violence can be justified, and it's one of like the coldest takes I've ever given. Like, it's super basic. Like, anybody with it, has even the slightest understanding of any political theory is going to say, like, well, of course, obviously, like, political violence is a reality that everybody faces.
Exactly.
So I was just very curious how everybody seems to have such a strong opinion about it, but nobody wants to talk about it. And then when I do get the chance to talk to people about it, they usually back away from it almost immediately. I feel like the entire country was founded on political violence, and a lot of the turning points in our history have been brought about because of political violence.
Let's see if I can actually go back to
Yeah,
Save
I
Game.
think
That one, yeah.
we don't disagree on
Save's
that.
coming.
What
I
we
know.
disagree
Yeah.
with is, taking it to the streets between citizens. I don't believe that. I mean, I've made my point on that.
There we go.
I don't think that you should, so I'm clear, and you already understand my point, is like, I don't think you should be banned from Twitch for that. And it's also easier to make a point in a 10-minute conversation than a 30-second Twitch clip. I didn't know Keem had it out for you.
Does it matter? Does it really matter?
Why wouldn't you have gone through the effort of like just finding out where it came from? Like because you went through the effort of making a 15-minute video on this, but you had no idea where it even.
Huh.
Well, the statement itself stands alone in terms of comparing it to terms of service and freedom of speech, which is what I was trying to talk about. You know what I mean?
Well, but you just said that having like a longer conversation about it makes it sound a lot different than just a 30-second clip.
Exactly.
Well, Twitch doesn't care.
Well, then why am I not banned?
I'm not sure. Well, I mean, I think Twitch does have a bias. Don't you agree?
Then why have I been banned before?
Huh.
What were you banned for before? The F-bomb, I think?
Yeah, and then I got I mentioned something about Cuban people and political violence or whatever.
Exactly.
For a conversation with my mom, and then I made a joke about a friend about bombing like his family when we were playing League of Legends, and I got banned for that.
Exactly.
That's pretty spicy. The R or N bombs are basically auto bans these days, I think, on Twitch. The other issue, I don't know. I know that I don't follow your many bans. I mean, I'm glad you're still here. I'm glad you aren't banned. But
Sure.
Hopefully you don't go in the streets and attack people. Just stick to making out with other dudes' girlfriends.
Huh. And this is what we're gonna leave it here for right now, guys.
What has happened?
I'm tired. It's getting late here. Probably go work on some manual dexterity another time for the rest of the night. But I want to thank everybody who's watched and enjoy your motherfucking day. Peace.